welcome back to another episode of the Be Who You Came to Be podcast. I'm your host, Tara Renze, and I have an amazingly organized, beautiful woman on the show today. Her name's Laurel Denise. She started in the jewelry business and has now transitioned to making these amazingly gorgeous planners. We have so much to talk about. I already told her that I am one of those non-organized people, but I got to tell you, these planners are absolutely gorgeous. So I don't even know where to start, what we're going to talk about, because I've got to get organized. So just so you know, she sent me two planners and I was like, well, I don't know which one to do. Am I supposed to be planning through both of them? Or, I mean, they're just so pretty. They look gorgeous on my coffee table as well. So welcome to the show and tell us a little bit about yourself to get going.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here today. I'm glad you like the planners. They could just be a coffee table, beautiful item for you to inspire you to be organized, or you could open them up and really get organized. It would be awesome. Either way, we make it easy to go both ways.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely love that. Tell us a little bit about your backstory. I mean, I went onto your website, read about it. Your PR people contacted me, and I love your story, who you are, what you do, your creativity. So just tell the everyone who's listening a little bit about you.
Absolutely. I have been in small business since 2005, which is continues to be psycho and hysterical to me that was the path that this sort of art major who didn't really have a straight path in life found. It's pretty cool actually. So I've been doing this since 2005, but I was under the brand Laurel Denise, but I started as a jewelry designer. So I had really unique handwriting and would like capture my handwriting in glass with resin, and I drew it out, and then I'd like paste these two things on top of each other, and then I was like, wow. I showed it to a few people, as creatives do, and they were like, wait, I would actually buy that. And you're like, whoa, my art degree could actually make me some money. That is crazy. And so then I kind of, the formula in 2005, we didn't have social media, obviously. We
Right.
didn't, Facebook was still just for college students. Like I didn't really have a channel. So I did wholesale trade shows, and I happened to live right outside of New York at the time. So I didn't have to it wasn't a huge investment as far as travel
But
goes to do
time,
those.
right.
Time investment. So I worked full time, and I would take my vacation days, and I would use them to be at these wholesale trade shows. And my first one that I did was a complete flop, like negative, so in the red that it's maybe brown at this point. Like
Oh,
it's like not even, but that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if I established this ahead of time or I've learned that since, but I don't ever just do it once. I'm like, okay, I learned a lot. I got a lot. I know what went wrong. Let me try it again. Let me do it a second time and see. So, did that, and from there, we got into some pretty great stores, and it just expanded so much to the point where it wasn't just glass. It was leather bracelets, 14 karat, sterling silver earrings, all featuring my handwriting in some way with like inspiration and encouragement. It really became this sort of sympathy gift company in some way. It like
right.
morphed into that, and we were nationwide and Free People and
Oh, cool.
Magnolia, and we were down there for all those events. It was really cool. It was really exciting. I had a huge staff, which was a handful. It was that was
Yes.
probably the hardest
Yeah.
part of this whole business journey. And then it was really, really great until it wasn't
Yeah.
anymore. And whether that was me sort of reacting to what the market was doing or the market reacting to me, I'm not quite sure. But in order to stay organized, doing this jewelry company, starting a family, running, I was a stay at home mom for a while managing the staff of 10, doing all these things. I needed to get organized. And there was no way that none of the traditional planners worked for me. They all kind of I was like, nothing makes sense. Like, this doesn't make sense. And so I made something that made sense to my brain. And it turns out it made sense to a lot of other people's brains as well. And I decided to launch it in COVID when no one had any plans at all, which was a time, but it sold out. And I was like, well, if this sells out when nobody has any plans at all, maybe it'll really grow. And I really, really loved it. And it made me excited. And I was looking at this new fun thing that people were really paying attention to. And I was like, that's where I want to spend my time. But I had this like baby of a company that I'd grown up with. And
Right.
it's hard to say goodbye to that. But the
Yeah.
minute I did, and the minute I was like really kind of real with myself about like what I could pour into really at that time, what I cared about the most, the voice I wanted to speak in online, how I wanted to show up, like who the true person
Right.
was the
Right.
family person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
So
switched.
I love this so much because I do think we have to pivot in life. And, my grandmother, who actually wrote the Be Who You Came to Be message that has become my entire life's work of helping people be who they came to be, she wrote that to my son almost 2 decades ago. He'll be 18 this year.
Mhm.
But she was an artist and she was a creative type. She got her art therapy, her master's in art therapy in the 80s, like when women just were not doing that. Plus, she lived in a small town. But so as soon as I found out that you designed jewelry and that you were an artist, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I just felt like this was kind of like a full circle moment. And then when I read that you had made this major pivot, I was like, oh, she is just such a great guest for our listeners, because I think so many times in life, we get to certain spots and we think, especially, think about your jewelry business, which by the way, I love jewelry. I sold Stella and Dot for like a
Oh my
decade
gosh, they have the
and
cutest stuff.
loved it. And it's just I've always loved jewelry. I have one little necklace on my website right now that I had someone design, but I was like, oh, maybe if you ever want to get back, we can do a Be Who You Came to Be, like a couple
Right.
inspirational
We
bracelets or
did so many of that. Our number one selling, we actually still have a trademark on this saying for jewelry is be you bravely. And
Oh
we
yeah, Be
sold.
You Bravely. I think I remember these maybe
Yeah, the
seeing
leather
it
they
somewhere.
were everywhere.
Yeah,
The be
yeah.
you bravely ones.
I love that. So we get to these points in life and we think, oh my God, how could I ever pivot? I mean, I talk to people all the time and they're like, I just could never leave. I could never change. And I'm just like, well, you could either just keep trudging forward or figure out a way to make it work. And I think that when we believe in something beyond, beyond maybe even more than we should,
Mhm.
things like we can make those big pivots and those big changes. And I'm sure that had to be incredibly wild to walk away from that jewelry business that you worked on for so long to do something completely different, even though these are still like art, but it's just a different
Oh my
form.
gosh, it's totally different. It's like even our messaging, like even our marketing is completely different. We were like very organic, cream, greens, very sympathy gift. We had to hold this heavy, we had to hold the heaviness that our customer was holding and like honor that. And so we couldn't come out and be too silly and too wild.
Right.
And because I wanted to honor where our people were, and they
Mm-hmm.
were dealing with some crap, like a lot of dwell in hope bracelets sold, like a lot of heavy stuff, that they were buying these bracelets for and these necklaces and stuff like that. And I just was like, I am so I for a while felt pretty I was like, gosh, am I a selfish bad person? But I was like, I've been in the sympathy space for 17 years and I am tired. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like how there, like probably a little millimeter of what a therapist feels like. I just am like I can't be in that space anymore. I need to like jump around on a trampoline in neon pink overalls, which I do regularly for content now.
Right.
It's like my whole personality kind of pivoted and my brand needed to pivot with it. And it couldn't do that with the jewelry. It
Right.
was so hard though to say goodbye to that identity and just bravely kind of turn around and be like, I don't know. This is who I am now. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I really do. I think that we evolve, and the Be Who You Came to Be messages, this idea that you never reach like one point in life and then arrive and then coast. Like we can
Totally.
always change, we can always reinvent ourselves. And I think as women, I mean, we change so much. I know who I was in my 20s is way different than I was in my 30s, and now I've been in my 40s, which has by far been my favorite decade ever.
Same. Same.
And I know the other day I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go into my 50s here in a few years. I don't want to
Yeah.
do that. Like I'm loving this 40s, but I'm sure once I get there, there's gonna be, something else and something new. And I even think about just how much I've changed professionally, but also personally,
Mhm.
friends, people come in and out of your life, and it's part of the normal evolution. But let's shift to organizing. I've got your
Ooh.
planner here.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about like why you chose this format.
Yeah.
Um, what's
Yeah.
because it's not your typical planner.
It's
It
not your
looks
typical. So it's sort of, it has long pages and short pages inside of it. And the general idea is that you can see everything at one time. Because for me, and for a lot of people, if it's not in front of me, it's not happening. It doesn't exist. So I would find myself missing appointments or missing or coming unprepared to something that I had plenty of time the week before to prepare for. I just like wasn't turning the page to then get to that. So I wasn't like it wasn't in my face, so I wasn't mentally preparing, I wasn't brainstorming creatively, and then I would just feel like a failure because I was like, "Oh, I had this really cool thing and like I don't I'm not doing well with it. You know, I didn't show up my best self to that, or it would catch me off guard, which didn't, that never feels really good. So I feel like my whole thing is that you have to see it all to be able to do it all. And I think the fact of the matter is women today are doing a lot. We are doing it all. And the thing is, it's not a punishment. I want to. Like I'm genuinely stoked about all the things I get to do. My kids, all the sports things, all of my work things, friend time, connection points, fitness. I love that. But if I can't organize it all, then like it becomes too overwhelming. And then I don't do anything. Then I just become like a turtle and I can't do much. So for me, that is one part of what we really we're about. That's one tenet of like every product we make. We really like it to be different in a bit of a way that helps people's brains actually be able to think and organize. And then our other thing is like writing it down, like getting it out of your brain, getting all of those ping pong balls and, sometimes they're fireballs out of your brain and on to paper. This works for journaling with mental health, but it also really works with like all the things that we think we need to do because when they're up here, they feel really, really urgent. But when you have a space that gives you this big bird's eye view, this like 360-degree view of everything, you're kind of like, oh, okay, that one thing that feels really urgent actually can be done in a week and a half. Let me just jot it down there while I have it all right here and I can see it. So you joked at the beginning call like you're going to teach me how to be organized. It is really, we make our planners really minimal, like on purpose, so that people can customize and put what works for Tara's. Like, what do you need? What list do you need to write down? What serves you that week for your right side and your left side, and what goes on your monthly? And of course, like we offer tutorials and here's your best practice or whatever, but really open ended and clean so that people it does involve a lot of self-awareness, like checking in, like how do I need to organize this month, this week, like what is actually going on in my life, how does this make me feel, what do I need, what am I missing, what holes need to be filled, and then creating a system for that within our little
What do
frame.
you think the biggest mistake that people make in trying to get organized? So for me, my husband always jokes, he's like, you have a memory like a steel trap. And I do I have a great
Yeah.
memory. I rarely forget or miss anything, like, especially for work. Like I would never, like, it's all in my phone and like, all this stuff. But I'm not a I am not really a organized person. In fact, my house, if you come to my house, people are like, I've been to your house. It always looks great. I'm like, yes, but have you ever opened a drawer
Yeah.
in my house? Because you're gonna find, some things. So what do you think? I mean, for someone who's like, I need to get my shit together and get
Yeah.
organized, like what do you think the biggest mistake people make right off the bat is?
I think they try to make it this perfect system that like this is what they're going to be doing for the next 10 years. and that's how they're going to be organized and it's going to fit. And like we're not even eating the same meals we were eating 10 years ago. Like we're not going to be planning the same way. So I think like allowing yourself some fluidity in it and just trying to begin with. So if all you do is do a big brain dump, we call them brain drops because why not be cute? And
Right.
like how like do you just do that and have it be big and messy on, either your layout, or you get just a notebook and you do that. It doesn't have to be one of our big fancy planners. It could just be a simple notebook. I think that people are just trying to make it look like the planner girlies on the internet, and it just doesn't have to. Like organized for me is a big monthly spread, my phone for my appointments, and then I think I have like 8 running lists right now of like categories, and
Right.
I'm doing that in my like 4-column planner. So that's the way I need to organize. Whereas like my creative director Nancy uses all these sticky notes in all these different boxes, and she puts them and moves them and checks them off and does all this stuff. It's like everybody is a little bit different. So I would
Right.
resist perfection, and research. Like if you really want to get organized and be better at it, like look at our YouTubes. Like look at planning. There are so many planning YouTubes out there. We have a great time on ours. But there are little nuggets, and research the same way you would when you were researching a new fitness thing that you were going to do, or a
Right.
new, just research.
Hey, it's Tara, and guess what? We are taking this show on the road. I am hitting the road for my Be Who You Came to Be book tour, and I could not be more excited. I have partnered with Kristen Cavallari's Uncommon James stores for an unforgettable experience. The first stop, Chicago on September 25th. P.S. Dallas and Nashville dates are going to be added soon, so stay tuned. Head on over to my website, snag your ticket, and be part of an incredible experience with the Be Who You Came to Be movement and Uncommon James. How do you integrate your phone? Because we've become so technology obsessed in our
I
world, I
know.
feel like. And for me, my husband he is really great. He's an engineer by trade,
Hmm.
and he works in finance. So he has a spreadsheet for everything. He's very organized. I mean, he's the one who goes in and like puts every practice, every kid's game, every anything into our phones. How do we integrate the two of them? Because I
Yeah.
am still that person that I like to see things written down. I like
Hmm.
to, have the visual in front of me. But then how do we integrate the two so they're working together?
So here's where, when I was, before I launched my planner, I could do a really good job digitally knowing what my appointments were and my
Mhm.
schedule was, right? That doesn't really stress me out. I could even put, with no time at all in the day, my tasks for the day in a, digital calendar.
Right.
Fine. What actually stressed me out was that all these ideas I had, or all these, oh, I can't forget, I want to do that in the future, or okay, this is how this meeting wrapped up with manufacturing, or with my customer service team, or with my kids' teacher, if you don't run a business, something like that, or with my work meeting. Those things were like right here in my periphery, a little behind. And it was like I was always urgent and panicking that I was going to forget those. And
Right.
those are the things, the digital, yeah, I guess you could write it in Trello or Notion, or like even your notes app or something.
Right. Okay, so I actually love this. So you keep the phone for appointments, and this is more of like organize every thought, every creative thing. Like I need to follow up on
Yeah.
this or do this rather than having
Yes.
like, because I am the person who also has like 25 notebooks, and then
A
I'm like, oh
hundred
shit,
percent.
I don't know which one I wrote this down.
Yes, exactly. And this is your one notebook. And like, you manage people. I'm like, did I pass that off? Do I not? Do I still need to? And I don't know if you've ever felt this way. You pass a big thing off, right? Like a big thing that's bothering you, or stressing you out. And you're like, I'm doing a good job. I'm a CEO, I'm a leader, I'm passing this off to somebody. But because I can't remember that I passed it off, or my brain doesn't connect that. So I have a list of all of my teammates, of all the things, and not in a micromanaging way, but in a, for me, oh yeah, you pass that off. Don't forget to follow up on it because it is important to you. You care about giving them things. you want to care about that. And that is like I delegate list, follow up list, manufacturing list, all these lists that I just live by and I refer to all the time so that I don't have a steel trap memory. I forget things all the time. And so for me, that gives me my sort of like Cliff's notes on life, you know? Like, oh, here's where I am.
So, have you ever felt, I know one of the things for me is balancing like the emotional intelligence side of like, writing a to-do list, and instead of like for some people that can actually result in a negative feeling, right? They're like, "Oh my
Totally.
god, I have so much to do." The overwhelm. They wrote the list out and then they're like, "I don't know where to start," or "I feel so guilty that I didn't get this done." Like, how do you balance all of that with,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you've got your list and you're like, "Shit, I only got 2 of these 10 things done."
Yeah, totally. I would start with a broad weekly list.
Okay.
So give yourself a broad weekly list, and then I would give yourself one, maybe two, I absolutely must do this today tasks. 10 things in a day is kind of a lot. Like it is a
Yeah.
lot, especially if one of them takes 4 hours. Like you never know.
Right.
Like there's some education involved in one of them or research or something like that. So I think that is start broad with your broad list and then narrow in and just give
Yeah.
yourself those two priorities. And then the once the snowball starts, you're like, wait, I'm actually doing things like this is great. And then you can pick in those moments after you've done two and you're like, I don't know, I mentally I feel like I could still do some more. Like I don't need to take a rest. There's nothing else I need to do.
Right.
I
Right.
feel jazzed. Let me go take one of the things off of my weekly list and I'll just plug away and just do
Yeah.
it.
I think it was, I can't remember. I read this somewhere. I think it might have been John Maxwell who was like, anytime you're feeling overwhelmed, write down everything that you need to do and
Yeah.
then just start crossing shit off of being like,
Yeah.
but I don't have to do this. This isn't going to matter. This isn't going to change anything. He's like, and then you can come up with like the two things that you have to do. And what happens so many times is when you focus on those two big things, everything else on the list kind of starts getting done because you're prioritizing what's really going to move the needle on something in your life versus just like a bunch of busy work.
Yeah. And if you're somebody, I love that idea. If you are somebody that like it really makes you feel panicked to cross the things off, just jot them on a future list. And then
Right.
okay, they have a home, sister.
Like a wish list.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like
Like a wish
someday
to-do
when I don't
list.
have a ton of shit going on,
Yes,
I
one
can do all
day.
these things.
Yes. And then the stuff that's really important to you will stick around in your
Right.
brain. You'll look at that wish list and you'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I am still into that one. I'm super glad I still have it. Let me do it." And
Right. So do you keep your planner for you? Tell me, how many kids do you have?
two.
2. And how old
Yeah.
are they?
They are 13 and 9 girls.
13 and 9. Okay. So they're
Hmm.
still at that, like, I'm lucky. We are just entering this new phase of both my boys can drive themselves. So
Whoa.
it's, even though it's a scary, like, emotional age where it's
Yeah.
like, but I'm not the one who has to be like, okay, someone has to be there to pick him up at this time, and then how are you
Yes.
going to go get this kid? And like, so do you keep your planner for just you, or do you try to integrate all the family stuff into it as well?
All my family stuff is digitally done, is in there
Okay.
digitally. And I even, depending on the week, if I am having a high anxiety week, I need to actually time block out, which means like you have that little bubble of time when you're doing something,
Right.
like driving them to the thing.
Right.
And that's not every week. Just some weeks I need to do that when I'm feeling really anxious. But my planner is mostly for me. It has family stuff in it, but work stuff, all of
Okay.
them. Marketing plans, my social media plans, my all my Cliffs notes from all my meetings, all the things I manage. Because the size we are at this point, like I do manage a lot of different helpers and independent contractors and stuff
Right. Right.
to do
Okay.
things.
Gosh, I got to tell you, I am feeling very enlightened right now because I've never really thought, I just always, every time, and I just, every year I buy a planner
Of course.
and then I'm trying to figure out like, how do I integrate these two things? But I actually love
Yeah.
that this is more of like my brain, my creativity, like things I want to
Totally, your
achieve, like
storage
goals,
place.
all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff like that. And I do love, you guys have some really cute little prompts. At the back here, the books
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
reading,
yeah.
things I'm listening to, happy moments. I'm actually launching this summer a new journal that I feel like would actually
Yes.
go really well with this because it's just like a place to take notes, but then it also has like some positive affirmations, just some,
Mhm.
little things that it would be like, oh, they would actually, they would work well together. Okay, so no judgment. What is one thing that you always have on like a to-do list that never gets done?
Oh my gosh, we call these at my company our frogs because they just a few reasons, but you know that saying, just eat the
Eat
frog
the
because
frog,
everything else.
yes.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
know like it's semi-controversial in the neurospicy world of people because it's hard to just eat the frog sometimes. But
Right.
we put them on sticky notes and they bounce all around, and I mean, folding laundry never goes on my to-do list because I'm like, I'm never doing that.
I
Like
suck
I am
so
never.
bad at folding
I'm
laundry.
so bad. I
I
just
get
throw
the
it in the
laundry
drawers.
done, it's clean, and
Yeah,
then it sits on a
same.
chair.
Same. Yeah, it just sits wherever it's gonna sit in the bin mostly. Most of the time,
Yes.
just the clean bin, and then I'm like, I saw a mom somewhere that built out her laundry room, and she had a massive closet in her laundry room, and like for her kids, for her husband and her, they all their closets were in the laundry room.
Oh, see, our last house was designed so well because we had a laundry room right off our master bedroom,
Yeah,
and I didn't have nearly the laundry pile up issue. We moved into an older house, and so, they put the laundry room off the kitchen, which makes
yeah,
freaking zero sense, okay?
0 cents.
0 cents. My bedroom is all the way on the other side of the house, and so, yeah, I agree. Laundry I actually have a thing in my, laundry room that says, "Laundry has sucked since whatever year they invented the
Since
washing machine."
forever.
Like, since the
Yes,
beginning of time.
since the beginning of time. And you have two boys, so
You know what? Uh, by the way, for every mom out there, when my kids got into 6th grade,
yeah.
they had to start doing their own laundry. I taught
You
them
know,
how to
you're
do
not
it.
alone. Yeah.
I just don't like, I mean, I like to cook. I like to, there's certain, like, I guess, household tasks that I really enjoy doing, and
Yeah.
laundry just wasn't one of them. So I just immediately took that off of my plate. And you know what?
Mhm.
They do a good job of getting their laundry done. My older son is definitely more of like the type A, does his laundry, folds it, puts it away. Jack is very much like me. The laundry gets done and then usually lands on the couch in his bedroom.
Mhm. Mhm. My kids are that way. Yeah, I didn't get a type A. Yeah. I got the what was that B.5 B A B 1.5 or A
Are your
B
kids
plus.
creative like you?
Yeah, they are creative. Yeah, very very creative and
So
talented.
my grandmother, she, it was the artist, and she used to. I mean, she was like above her, like well above her time for like how she parented, how she did things,
Yeah.
and she always would say, "You're so creative." Like it was never like, "Oh, your pinch pot is amazing. Like this is such a cool pot." She was just like, "You're
Yeah.
so creative. Tell me about this." And it really just allowed us to like explore our creativity and also
Mhm.
have pride in what we were doing versus,
Mhm.
and especially with art, I mean, it's subjective anyway. But I thought that was really so interesting that she always just told us how creative we were.
I love that. I love how what we tell them becomes eventually who they, little parts of who they are. Obviously, they're going to become their own people, but what we echo for them is like so powerful.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
powerful. They are very, very creative and fierce. So I can't wait to see what they
Do you have
become.
a boy and a girl?
Two girls.
Two girls. Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
I have the two boys. So
Yes.
we live in strangely different worlds that all start colliding. We
I
love
know
having the
they
girls over
do.
though because they both have girlfriends and they're the information givers.
Yes, and the girl moms.
Oh yeah.
They know. We know all the things.
I know. It is so teenage girls and boys are wildly different.
I know, it's really funny. My oldest is good friends with mostly boys in her class, her 7th grade class, and it has been really fun to watch that go down. And I have all the information on all the boys, which
Oh
is
yeah.
really fun
Yeah. Yeah,
because
it's a
it's good
whole it's a
information. They're really sweet.
it's a totally different world, isn't it?
Yes, it absolutely is, but it's fun.
So is there anything else that you want to cover or any tips or tools or tricks that that we should know about with your organization and planners.
Yeah. I was listening to one of your recent podcasts, your solo ones, and it reminded me, and this is part of one of the part of the presentation that we give about planning in general, but how you can, be sort of equipped with all the lists you should make, all the washi, all the highlighters, whatever you want to do. But if you're not like looking yourself in the mirror and being self-aware enough to ask yourself how you need to organize and just taking time to do that, I feel like that's such a missing part of getting organized. I think we all kind of just look to these experts, but you have to look to them and they're sort of like the salt on your salad or whatever, the dressing on your salad, but like you make the greens. So
Right.
like you're the one that has to come up. And I think that's why it can be so hard for people to do it, because they're missing the mirror moment of being like, well, okay, but does time blocking work for me, or is that just the way Laurel does it?
Right.
Or, is digital planning plus all the lists, does that work for me? Or is that just the way other people do it? So I think like there is this like hidden self-awareness element to planning that I find really, really interesting, because I love emotional intelligence and just thinking and what am I contributing to this, and that's how I parent my girls, like with that language. So I was listening to it and thinking, yeah, like this fits so in line with all the things that we tell people to do, which is really cool. I love that. I love what you're doing.
Hey, it's Tara here, and I've got some big news. My brand new second edition Be Who You Came to Be book is finally here. It is loaded with new secrets, new stories, and emotional intelligence tips designed to help you create, own, and live the life that each and every one of you deserve and desire. You don't need another self-help book. You need a roadmap to bring you back to exactly who it is that you came to be. The book has a fresh new look. It has this beautiful wrap cover on it. However, hiding underneath it is that original gold foil and ivory cover designed to sit on your coffee table to inspire you daily to go all in on exactly who it is that you came to be. In addition to the book, yes, I've updated the journal too, and I am obsessed. The journal is full of quotes, of prompts, and places for your wildly positive affirmations. You can head over to my website to pre-order your copy on Amazon, or as an insider, you can snag one today. This isn't just a book, it is your guide to being exactly who it is that you came to be. The self-awareness aspect of planning, and I know for me, as someone who is, a self-proclaimed not a super organized person, I get frustrated with myself when my organization or lack of thereof starts costing me time. And that's usually when, like, okay, time to overhaul my closet, time to make sure that when I'm sitting like when I spend 5 minutes looking for a shirt because I didn't get it hung back up and put in the right place.
I know.
Or same with my office. Like if I'm looking around for something and I'm like, I know this was here just a minute ago, then I think that that's when, organization starts, it can really derail us mentally, because,
Totally.
if you're not self-aware enough to be like, okay, well, this means that you need to take time to get organized, or maybe you should make this a priority, versus so many times people just go immediately into like negative self-talk
Oh,
and all the things,
immediately.
versus really understanding like, hey, what is this trying to tell me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And some sort of hacks to get over that is, I think there are things like putting the laundry away. Or for
Yes.
me, blow drying my hair. I
Yeah.
hate blow drying my hair. I looked up blow bar, whatever that place is, and I was like, really? $75? Like every 4, I'm not doing that, but I would love to.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
do. I
would
have people
love
who
to.
love to go get a blowout.
I
I
mean,
I'm
I
the
would
same
love
way. I'm
it.
like, I can't commit to that
I can't
time
commit
or
to it,
financially.
but just doing it home, even, I'm like, this is going to take me forever. So I have a little list in my planner. And this is why the blow drying is in my head, because I just added to it this week. Blow drying took me 4 minutes. It took me 4 minutes. 4 minutes of my life. Like it took no time at all. And like for us, like putting the laundry away, it's probably 6 minutes, maybe
It
seven,
is.
eight. And it's
It
like,
is.
I don't know, listen to like 3 really good songs. So having that sort of a visual reminder of that is another use for paper and for a planner if you'd like, to just kind of keep that in your head of like these things that feel like mountains and that really do cost us time and just make us feel like crap,
Yeah.
like sometimes it really can mentally make you feel terrible that you have clothes all over the floor. And if that gets you down, then like write down how much time it really takes and just stick to it.
Yeah. There's another rule that's like if it takes less than 30 seconds or less
Do
than a
it.
minute, just do it.
Yep.
And I have really started doing that as well, just because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to do this right now. It's not going to take that long.
Totally.
Like, let's just knock it out. I think one of
Yeah.
the things that, just from a self-awareness standpoint with the planner, and I'm loving this, like high level version. I don't know why it's taken me 48 years for someone to tell me like you can keep your appointments in your phone and have a planner
Oh my gosh.
plan your
I need to tell people that.
creative. Yeah, that's huge. Just so you know,
Yeah.
it's huge for me. But I also think just writing down every day for people, how am I feeling today? Um,
Yes.
and using that emotion as the data of like, what is this trying to tell me? What am I,
Mhm.
the more we can get in tune, I think, with the self-awareness aspect, and then having that written down, or like, what am I excited about? What was a win today? So when you're having those bad days, you have this spot to go back to that's like, oh my gosh, here's all my wins.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely. People, I didn't know this before I got into the planner world, but people use planners to just journal and write stuff like that down, like their gratitude for the day. My creative director has a little list that is like good things I believe about myself, like every day. Like
oh,
she
I love
writes one
that.
thing down
Yeah.
that's like, oh, reasons Nancy's the best. Like, and it's her list. Like she covers it up with a sticky note when she's sharing her planner. She's like, this is embarrassing. Don't look at it. But
I
it's just
love
for
the
her.
wildly audacious positive the positive
Yeah.
affirmations of like my ass looks great in these jeans.
Yes. Like,
The world needs my light. Like we do,
yeah.
because we do get what we believe.
Yes,
And
totally.
and then when we put stuff in writing and write it down. So I'm
Yeah.
going to keep you posted with my journaling. See, I'm already calling it journaling with my
Yes.
my planning and how it's going.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what it does. I hope it helps.
Yeah.
Yes.
So before we wrap up, I got to ask you, are you ever going to bring jewelry back, or is that
Mm. I thought about for a while trying to, have one of those websites that had like a jewelry tab and a planner tab. But
right?
my brain just couldn't love those two babies at the same time. I just was like, I can't do it. And jewelry was so labor intensive, so it
Yeah.
required a lot of staff.
Right.
And for me to be available to my family in the way I wanted to be available to my family, I couldn't have a staff
Yeah.
in that way. Now I have four people. We're all very, very independent. I have three people actually, and then a lot of independent
Yeah.
contractors that I just meet with every other week or every week, which has been the sweet spot for me right now. I just didn't. You have to be willing to be a very active manager to be good at being a big team leader. And I
Yeah.
was letting them down. Like I didn't have it to give,
Yeah.
with
Well,
too
you know
small.
what? The fact that you were able to recognize that, I know for me, I used to lead large teams as
Yeah.
well. And it was after I had children, I really realized like, gosh, I just want to lead my family and my children and continue to work and make an impact, but the leadership aspect was something that it just felt like it was extra for me, where I liked where I was responsible for other professionals. It was so much where it's like I can still lead from a place of being a self-led leader, showing people how they can mentally lead themselves, make
Mhm.
an impact in the world. I think it makes a huge difference.
Yes.
I I learned this lesson the hard way, and one of the reasons I asked about would you ever want to go back to the jewelry? And I love that you've really given this so much thought, because I think sometimes we make these like seductive nostalgia decisions where we like,
Mm.
oh, but it was so great when it was like this, and how could I reinvent that and bring it back where it's like, hey, that chapter was amazing and I loved it, and I'm going to look back on that forever, and all the people that we made an impact with, but now I'm moving on. And so, not making decisions based on nostalgia, I think sometimes can
Yeah.
be a really hard thing to do, because we do want to recreate and have those amazing things again, but the season of our life has changed that we usually can't recreate it anyway. So
Totally, absolutely. And the impact we were making did feel good. It did feel good to encourage people and love them and make them feel seen. But I had to, I kind of, that was part of the journey of like being like, I'm still doing something purposeful and helping people, even if it's not in this like direct
yeah,
clear path.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it was like that chapter is totally, it is done
Yeah.
for me.
Good for you. I love that you know. And I think it's just a great permission slip that we give ourselves of like, hey, that was amazing. And it's not who I am anymore. And now
Totally.
it's, I'm stepping into this. And I love how you said,
Yeah.
like, you're still like at the heart of who you are and what you do is helping people. So tell us a little
Yes.
bit about where they can find your planners,
Yeah.
how to follow you. We'll put all of it in the show notes as well. But
Absolutely. We are laureldenise.com, and all of our planners and inspiration and all of that stuff is there. And then Laurel Denise on Instagram is where you will find us the most. And we are also on TikTok as Laurel Denise. So we're also on YouTube. We are literally everywhere. We
I
are
love it.
everywhere. Yeah, we do a little bit of everything. Which is the way we like it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah,
different
absolutely.
content in each place. TikTok has its own sort of wild, wild west content, and
It is.
Instagram has its own, and it's really fun. We have a good time.
Yeah.
But we are, YouTube is where we really educate and connect more with people. But Laurel Denise has links to everything.
Awesome. I love it so much. And I talked Laurel into a promo code Terra10, which you can use as well. But go check out their planners. They're absolutely gorgeous. There's something for everyone. And if you get one, send me a DM so we can be planner buddies and
Yes,
hold each other
absolutely.
accountable.
Yes, that's a good way to get going with it.
Uh, one more question here before we end. What's your favorite quote?
Oh my goodness. Ooh, I actually have an answer for this. I never have answers for these questions. The one thing I've ever considered getting tattooed on my human self is I get to. And it changed my perspective as a mom when things were really hard, like trying to balance everything. Even, let's swing it back to laundry. I
Yeah,
get to do laundry. Like
it is
and
true.
I think I don't go so far as to make it really toxic positivity. It's just like a perspective shift of like, no, girl, stop. You get to do this. Like
Right.
you get to hold that squat in, your bar class for 25 minutes. Like you get to.
Yeah. It's a great mindset shift of just being, optimistic but
Yeah.
realistic at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think it's also just that like way that we can move through hard things and do the hard things, right? That like sometimes
Yeah.
we don't really want to do it, but like, hey, I get to do this and I should
Yeah.
be
I'm
I
gonna
should
do
be
it. It doesn't
grateful.
work all the time, but it is like a really helpful mind kind of shifter a lot of the time.
I also don't have a tattoo. I can't decide on a graphic
No.
t-shirt, so let alone like actually ink my body with
Seriously.
something.
I know. You're so right. I did like that idea, those little freckle tattoos that were going around the internet. Like they went viral. They had a moment like 8 weeks ago or something, I think. And I was like,
On your arm?
yeah, it's like you put freckle, like a little, like, but they're heart shaped or they're like a cross or dots or something to signify something. And I was like, okay, I could go to a permanent makeup artist and maybe get that. Like
Yeah.
little tiny birds, and they're so small that they look like freckles. Isn't that funny?
Oh. I
But
I
they're
I
like
missed
on your
this
arm.
trend. Yeah.
Well, now you will. Now that I've
Now
said
now
it,
it's
it'll
gonna
come
be
up.
stalking me now, and
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna,
will.
get
But
into it.
it is actually, but I can't decide either. I was gonna make an appointment, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't decide.
Yeah. I know. I think it's one of those things like unless you're, you know, like you have to get the tattoo, like you just know,
I
like,
know.
if you know, you know. If you're on the fence, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Just write it down in your planner
Right?
and
Put it
celebrate
in
it
your
every day.
future
You could
list.
write it down without writing it on your body.
You really could, unless you want to write it on body, and then go for
Yeah.
it.
I
But
have so many friends though who are tattoo people and I mean it's almost like spiritual to them. Like they love
oh,
it. And I think it just goes to
100%.
show like, different strokes for everyone and
I
find what
know.
you love. So,
Honestly, I think a woman with a sleeve, like I'm like, you're so sexy. Like I get it. Like I think you look so cool.
yeah.
But
Well, and the
I am not
authenticity
that.
But
Girl.
authentically, like, knowing that that's what you are and that's what you
Yeah.
like, and like you want to put it on. I have mad respect for it
So
as
much
well.
respect. It's so
So
cool. It's so
yeah.
cool. We'll be there one day.
We will. We will. Well, Laurel, thank you so much for being on the show. I loved having you. You've given me so much great perspective and a total aha moment. So,
Good. Oh, that makes me delighted. Thank you for having
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, everyone. Thanks for tuning into today's show. Keep shining, live unapologetically authentic, and be who you came to be.